Hi all, welcome to my French Football League review. So this is Ligue 1 and Ligue 2. I think obviously the main talking point obviously is PSG winning the league pretty comfortably by 15 points, and kind of saying right off the bat, like Lille probably being where they finished the season, I don't think people would have predicted. But I suppose because Gaultier went from Lille to Nice after winning the league, but I personally did not see such a gap happening this season. I thought it may have been a bit more competitive, but nonetheless wasn't to be. So obviously PSG 8 draws, 4 losses, Messi in the squad, Neymar and Mbappe. You would think with that front three it should be academic, and if I'm honest, it could have been. It is worth noting Marseille did lose 9 games. Did draw the same amount as Marseille, but at times Marseille let themselves down. Same for Monaco, even Nice for that matter. If I'm going to be brutally honest, between Marseille, Monaco, Rennes, and Nice, the 4 of them, if had been more consistent, there was I think one of the games, I think it was Rennes v Clermont. I think Clermont got the victory or whatever. There's some of the results where those 4 alone, if they'd been more consistent, not just against the bottom half but against each other, then you may have seen 1 or 2 break away to challenge PSG. And especially when they were maybe playing PSG, I think Nice were the only team I think this season to get points in both games. I think that was 2 draws, I think it was. But for me, I would say it's good to see Marseille being second, I suppose. Monaco being third, they did well. They worked hard to get third in the end. They missed out on second on the last day of the season, which would have guaranteed them the Champions League, but that's what happens when you concede a 96-minute goal. That's what happens. Rennes and Nice, they'll be happy being in Europe respectively. Strasbourg obviously just missing out, especially if what let them down really was 2 of their last 5 were defeats. All they had to do was convert one of them to a win and 1 a draw, and they would have been in Europe. Or in fact, I tell you, it would have been 1 game because they had better goal difference. But it is what it is. Lens, Lyon missing out on Europe. Lyon again missing out on Europe, especially with them a couple of years ago missing out on Europe, and the assumption was, because they've missed out on Europe, this will make them challenge for the league again. It's this season, it was kind of an odd one because obviously they went on a bit of a run in the Europa League, getting unstuck by West Ham, and that kind of became what they were relying on. It was almost like the Europa League. But Lens and Strasbourg, I think both will be delighted that they finished 6th and 7th respectively, but I think when both of them looked deep down, especially their last few games, there was certainly potential for them to have got a European spot. Nantes finishing 9th. At times they were unbelievable. If you watched them when they played PSG, Lafont made so many world class saves, getting a rare 10 from L'Équipe. He'll be delighted with that, but I feel Nantes certainly could have done a little bit better. Ludovic Blas was doing really well this season, Palloy just consistent. Fair play to them in the cup, for example. That's where they'll take the be most delighted with because they've won a cup. But at the same time, I would say deep down, they probably wish they had they could have maybe just done a little bit better. That's the way they want to kind of look at it. Yes, they've won the Coupe de France, but you want to have said you win the not necessarily win, but try and get yourself high up the league table. The way to look at it as well, it gets them into Europe. That's the way you kind of look at it. It gets you into Europe, where not necessarily through like the back door, but it gets you in. So like that's the way I would look at it if I was Nantes in that regards. Like from a French football perspective, what was most delightful to watch was with the Coupe de France, the amount of small teams upsetting the big teams. Like till pretty much the quarter final, you had only 4 top flight teams left. What was a shame was that the top flight teams didn't group up against each other. So like at the quarter final stage, it was Monaco, Nice, Marseille, and Nantes. They all didn't match up against each other. It was only Nice and Marseille matched up. But the reason why I say that, could you imagine if it had been like Monaco v Nantes and Nice v Marseille? You'd have then had guaranteed at least one small team in the semi-final, with the potential that one small team would make the final if you drew it right. That would have been brilliant, because Versailles were unlucky against Nice. They really gave it a good goal in the semis. I know that's diversion from the league table, but the French Cup always seems to be the one trophy solely because they seem to be able to be one competition where the small teams do turn out. I think the lowest, for a while, I think it was a few seasons ago, there was like a fifth tier team or a sixth tier team, and they got to like the quarterfinals or something, I think, and it was like, this is unbelievable. It's like the smallest team going, and at like a regional level, and they're in like the I'm sure it's like quarterfinals or the semi-finals they got. It might not even be the fifth tier or the sixth tier. It might have been like the fourth. I think Versailles were like the fourth, because they're semi-pro squad, by the way. Just to kind of reiterate. Yeah, Versailles. Let's get this right. I'm sure it might be. They're fourth tier. That's what it is. Yeah, fourth tier. I'm sure it's fifth. Yeah, that's what it was. Because they got promoted this season. That's one thing I noticed about them when I was keeping track of them. I was like, this is unbelievable. But regardless, as I said, the league in general, Lille obviously coming in as defending champions. To finish where they did, I think will kind of disappoint them, solely because they know they could have done a lot better. Like, they genuinely could have done a lot better, solely because they still had like Jonathan David, they still had Yilmaz, they still had a very strong squad, but didn't perform, I think, like even remotely to what they're capable of, which was a bit of a disappointment. And when you think about it, like all eyes were on like Jallo, Botman, Bamba, Renato Sanchez. Like when you broke down the squad, like it wasn't the most impressive squad. And like the one transfer I found quite odd was like Yaziki went out to CSK Moscow, but like for me, it was just, it felt like they could have done better. Like they genuinely could have done like a lot better. Like obviously they, like Akone and Ronaldo went to Fiorentina and Atletico respectively, but even still, there certainly was potential for them where they could have done a lot better. I think like Amadou Onana, quite a few people had like eyes on him for like this season, and I think the goalkeeping situation was maybe where they struggled as well, because they had no Magnan. So like Grbic and Jardim weren't exactly, and Jakubic weren't exactly inspiring confidence. Chevalier went to Valenciennes, and Carnices just sits in the reserves doing nothing. But yeah, that was kind of like that situation really with Lille. And like going with Lille, actually, I think like Jallo, Botman, Selic, Jonathan David, Renato, I think they're all talks of like going to like different teams, whether it be within the league or England or Germany or whatever, or Italy. There's a number of players touted for transfer, so it'll be interesting to see how they do, as it were. But bottom half of the table, Brest and Reims, they'll probably be quite happy where they are. Same for Troyes. Angers at times looked really good. Like Buffalo especially was very impressive for Angers. Montpellier will be very disappointing, finishing 13th, because they were at times very, very impressive. Like Savigny was easily at times one of the best midfielders in the league. He was just so impressive with what he was doing. Like you couldn't really deny it. Like that was the thing. Like, and I think because Savigny was doing so well, Mavididi was being as consistent. Molly was doing all right. And then obviously, when you kind of break down the team in general, when like Omlin done like some of the games, he was producing some top saves, which makes all the difference. But I think what let down Montpellier was just their consistency. Like sometimes they like were going into games, and like there was one game I think it was 3-3 I think, and they were like 3 up or something, or 2-0 up at half time. But like the squad on paper looks half decent. Like Omlin and Suke, Mamadou Sakho certainly having like a career resurgence, as it were, under them, which was fair play to the guy. Like Germain, just steady, nothing flashy, just for what was given. As I said, Savigny was pretty much like the engine of that squad. Like at times you do think if he wasn't in the squad, could there be could they have went down? And there's certainly a debate for it, because we take out his goals and assists in the equation, and you've certainly got that debate. Like, but Lorient, Clermont, they'll be happy that they've done enough to stay up, so fair play to them. Bottom 3, Bordeaux and Metz, ran out of steam. Metz, especially on the last day of the season, kind of got the short straw getting PSG. They'd done all the hard work 2 games prior. And they knew there and then it was a case of damage limitation, because they knew going into the final game of the season that they could still stay up via the relegation playoff, because basically Metz needed to rely on bettering or equal St Etienne's result. That's what I believe was needed. St Etienne obviously got a draw on the last day of the season, that kept them up via the playoff, which is ongoing just now. Bordeaux, they did the hard work winning on the final day of the season, but 91 goals conceded is a bit of a worry. Well, they did score 52. Obviously I think it's like their financial troubles, the fans invaded the pitch. Like, there's like a lot of questions to be asked about Bordeaux. I didn't like one of the historic clubs in the league, but it is what it is. You just have to take what you get. But that's just the way football goes. Then second tier, obviously Toulouse and Ajaccio going up. Toulouse nearly eked that out. They nearly made a bit of a dog's dinner about it, but they more than enough in the end to take the league title. And obviously at the moment it's Auxerre and St Etienne in the playoff ties. That's like possibly by the time this goes live it might have finished, so we'll find out if Auxerre's promoted or St Etienne staying up or going down. But Paris, they kind of maybe feel like it's a missed opportunity, because they were at one point were second, and maybe a few too many draws. Like the one point I will say, and this is what I found the most impressive about the second tier, Ajaccio had conceded 19 goals over 38 games, so that's basically less than a goal a game, but they only scored 39 goals and they finished second. That takes a bit of doing, so it kind of shows that you're only scoring like a goal a game, but you're conceding less than a goal a game, so you're kind of almost every game is either, if you're drawing it's probably 0-0, and if you're winning games it's likely 1-0. at maybe best 2-1. But no, that was some statistic. That was just something impressive to look at. Rest of the division, obviously, Sochaux had like their chance in the playoffs, I think, but not to be. Bit of work to be done for like the likes of Guingamp, Ken, Le Havre, Nimes especially. They obviously quite a few players were touted to leave there to go back to like the top tier. Namely, there's better players as it were. Pau and Dijon, like Dijon will want to try and work a little bit harder to get back up near the top half of not just the top half of the table, but try and get in that promotion battle. Same with like Amiens. New York's probably just happy, I suppose, being like staying up, but maybe would like to be near the top half of the table. Grenoble, Valenciennes, obviously a bit of work to be had with them. But yeah, it's like one like Nancy, I didn't expect them to go down. But like Dunkirk going straight back down, Quevilly, Rouen, like the French like divisions, like I think it's mainly because you always wonder where with some of these leagues how they kind of not just perform, but how the ambitions play out as it were. Like that's what it comes down to. But like. It's like kind of like they're just great to just keep an eye on, and you just see how it plays out. Really, that's the way I look at it, because it's fun to watch and just seeing how whether it be top tier or second tier or any other tiers, but how the teams individually perform, and you just get a bit of excitement into the bargain, as it were. But we'll see how it progresses with transfers and see how teams perform and prep for like next season. But as I said, let me know what your thoughts are on that, folks. If you follow French football, would you like to see PSG feel under a bit more challenge next season, whether it be from Marseille, Lyon, Lille, Nice, Rennes, any of them in general, I suppose Monaco. See how that progresses, and we take it from there. So take it easy all, thanks for listening, and I will catch you all later.